Salisbury joins us now. Sean, how much time did you spend last night watching the skills challenge?
Be honest.
I have not seen a snap of the Pro Bowl or the skills challenge since I was at ESPN covering it for a bunch of years in Hawaii. I honestly have not seen a play of the Pro Bowl or any of the stuff unless it's on highlights or something on social media in 15 years. So I'd rather have an enema. Okay.
lose 5 pounds.
And it's healthier for you too, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can predict the future. There you go.
Well, and then we're talking about all these guys that they opt out. You want to watch Josh Allen. You want to watch Lamar Jackson and Max Crosby and TJ Watt. They all opted out. There's like a list of 30 guys. I mean, why not just say goodbye? Yeah. Be done with it.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, you know what's going to happen, Rock and Manuch? That when their Hall of Fame numbers called, it'll say 14 Pro Bowls next to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about that.
True.
They may opt out, but it'll still hope on the resume when they're talking about Hall of Fame and all that stuff. Hey, or when they go on their analysts when they're done, or say, hey, yeah, he's a 12-time Pro Bowler. He only went to 2 of them, but 10 of them he didn't decide to show up for. And then the other part is they like the 8th alternate. If he gets the quarterback back out, he gets to call himself a Pro Bowler, and he was in the middle of the road pack of threw for 1,800 yards, and now he's a Pro Bowler. I remember listen, what an honor it is to get elected, but now it's like, yeah, thanks, great, I'm moving on to collect my 200. So I don't know why. I mean, obviously there's sponsors made for TV. There's somebody out there likes it, but it's pathetic. The baseball All-Star game is still the best and always has been.
Could you see it ever going back to the week after the Super Bowl? I mean, we want more football, and it's an opportunity to then see the Saquon Barkleys and the Patrick Mahomes, the players that are in the Super Bowl.
You know what I do? To go back. Heck, we protect the players enough on Sundays. We'll protect them plenty in the Pro Bowl. They have all these rules. You can't blitz. You can't.
Yeah.
The people in Hawaii, guys, when I go there, went there with 10 years in a row, whatever. The people in Hawaii were so good at the way they treated us. If you're going to make them do this, I agree. Move it to the week after. The guys who don't want to play, don't play. You guys don't play now, and they're not even in the Super Bowl. But if you say it's a family trip to Hawaii,
yep,
you up the ante a little bit on the winner-loser, make it a winner-take-all thing. And then it'll get a little more competitive. Give each guy $250,000 from the NFL, and then they're like, whoa, maybe – get him over there, let him stay in Hawaii with family. When it was there, even though it wasn't, overly competitive, at least guys went and they were there and you had fun and there was camaraderie. They need to go back to it. It's nuts doing this. Go back, play that, no blitz, and let the quarterback drop back and throw, play him a quarter and get him out, have an alternate there, and do it in Hawaii where it's beautiful. And the Hawaiian people deserve to have that game back in their stadium in Honolulu. I love the atmosphere. I didn't care about the game, but I think that's the only way you salvage it. Other than that, crap can it and let's move on or find something else to do.
You bring that up, Sean. I sit there and think if it's a week after, you might have guys that are like Pat Mahomes is a gym rat. Manning's a gym rat. Brady, they love that competition. They would most likely, or Pat Mahomes would most likely show up. I think Jalen Hurts might show up because they are such gym rats. They are such competitors that they love. Hey, if they're driving by a football field or a sandlot, they need a quarterback. They're the kind of guys that show up and play.
Yeah, and you know what? Good weather. You go with the fellas. Families are there. Sitting around, heck, half the fun at the Pro Bowl sitting around the pool or the beach with all the guys after practice. And there's a bunch of beautiful golf courses to play. You go practice for an hour. You walk through. I mean, really, the biggest hassle is flying first class or on a private flight to Honolulu. So come on now, man. I just, like I said, if we're not getting guys to play in the week before the Super Bowl and guys are
about 4 minutes
football stuff, then why not go back and make it where it started, where at least it had a tad bit of traction, or find something else? But it just doesn't work. I mean, it'll make you not want to watch football. This Pro Bowl, it's crazy.
Sean, as we look at this game in about 8-9 days, you look at the Chiefs, you look at Patrick Mahomes, a different group of receivers aside from Travis Kelce year in, year out. So when you watch the Andy Reid offense strategies in particular, year after year after year with different bodies except for the quarterback and your tight end, What is it you appreciate, or what is it that a lot of us may not see that you do see?
He's the best in the world at putting guys, you know, and put it this, Worthy's got a chance to be special with all that speed. But, you know, Juju Smith-Schuster's been on a few teams. They've got some guys that Hop's a good player. His best football may be behind him, DeAndre Hopkins. But he does better job than anybody of accentuating guys' skill set. If it's Xavier Worthy, get him the ball in his hands in space and let him go from 0 to 60 in about the blink of an eye. With his Hopkins, work outside the numbers, your slants with the big body, and that he does he's done it forever. I've known Andy since I was coming out of high school, and when I would take recruiting trips, and he's just gotten better. But he never gets bored. It's not he never stands pat. And think about the tribute. He was a West Coast offense guy, right? Mm-hmm. Now and then when he went and got Mahomes, instead of being that stubborn, it's my way. We're going to do West Coast stuff. This is how he did. Andy's taken like 5 or 6 different things from everything he used to do in Philly when it was a lot of verbiage West Coast. Now he brings what Mahomes is good. He puts guys in their strengths and keeps them out of their weaknesses. And as a head coach, to focus every year on still being the play caller and having the leadership skills on one end, but also as an offensive coordinator, play caller, the wherewithal to be dialed in. I just think he's the best situational coach on the planet, and he's the best situational football. I mean, his players seem to.
About 2 minutes.
Situational football wins champions, and they do it better than anybody, and he does. It doesn't matter who it is. It's a different rapper. You'd like to have like the Tyreek Hills, but they haven't wavered. Maybe their offense isn't as pretty as it used to be. He just does, okay, we're going to run it today. Kareem Hunt will be good for us. His ego's not in the way of having to throw for 450 yards every week for them to look good. I mean, Mahomes wasn't even in the MVP talk this year, but in the situations, there's nobody better. When the game's on the line or it's the last drive or it's 3rd and 4. And he just has a way, and he's so good at manipulating defenses with formations, motions, window dressing, and the screen game. Hey, it used to be a vertical game they'd play all the time. He does a lot of sideways stuff now, a little bubble screen, smoke screen, gets the ball to Kelsey in space on a quick hitch, and then they take their shots down the field because the quarterback's so good at it. I just love his situational football, and his ego never gets in the way of calling a game.
Let's end with this one, Sean. Which team has the most at stake? You look at the Chiefs, 3-peat, GOAT, Dynasty, the refs. Then you have the Eagles. They got to prove themselves that they're part of the elite. They can beat the big dog in the Chiefs. Which one has more at stake?
Well, if we're talking backlash from a city, Philadelphia for sure.
Yeah.
You got to clear the rap.
You go to the Super Bowl, lose this game, people will be looking like a fractured Liberty Bell. Man. I mean, you know how it goes. Think about it. Sirianni at one point early in this season, if Barkley's not on that team, God, thank goodness for that stud, right?
Yeah.
Barkley, think about Sirianni when he was arguing with the fans. There's like, man, are they going to fire him? Remember that after last year? And now he's back in the Super Bowl, second time in 3 years. So it's pretty impressive. I think there's a lot to – I mean, obviously there's pressure on both.
Yeah.
And since you haven't won one with Sirianni, the pressure in the organization I know falls on them, but overall legacy and what they're about to accomplish. Think about the Steelers in the 70s, the 49ers in the 80s, Cowboys 80s, 90s, the New England Patriots. Of all the great teams we've ever had, nobody's done it 3 times in a row. On them, now, I don't know if it's pressure. Legacy, yes, and you want to do well because they handle pressure. So I think there's more pressure on Philly because they got to knock out the champ.
Yeah.
But as far as just the overall lifetime legacy pressure and doing something well that even Brady didn't get to do, I think with Mahomes and Kansas City, it probably falls on them a little more. But the pressure from a city, if a team loses, is far deeper on Philadelphia than it will be on Kansas City.
Are you heading to New Orleans?
You know what? I'm actually meeting. I'm not going to the game.
Yeah.
I'm going, and we're not doing Radio Row. I'm going to do it from here. I'm flying in Thursday and Friday night. I have 2 huge dinners with big bosses for the new thing that we're about to announce on Thursday and Friday. I mean, we'll announce it. I still haven't yet because there's one last thing to do. But I'm meeting with them in in New Orleans and having dinner on Thursday night, Friday night with two different gentlemen. So I'll be there for that.
All right, cool. We're going to try to squeeze in a prediction next week. So if we can get you for 5 minutes, that would be great.
I'll be good to go next our normal Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, buddy. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you. Thank you.
That's Sean Salisbury here on Rock and Manooch, here on ESPN 620. He is brought to you today by All City Towing. They are hiring. Yes, they have dispatcher positions, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, customer service personnel. They got great benefits. They got a healthy 401k, employer-paid life insurance, monthly fuel allowance. So if you're ready to take your career to the next level in 2025, visit them online at allcitytowing.com. That's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Coming up, we'll look back on this day. Plus, hey, your first chance today, win some free food. How's a large one-item pizza